Have you ever heard of the midnight game? They say it's a ritual with roots in ancient punishment, a game that was never meant to be played, where the only prize is survival. Once you begin, there's no turning back. Tonight, we dive into the midnight game, a ritual that went horribly wrong, bringing unspeakable terror to those who dared to play. The midnight game is more than a challenge, it's a test of endurance. To start, you write your full name on a piece of paper and prick your finger, leaving a drop of blood. At precisely midnight, you knock on your front door 22 times, with the final knock landing exactly as the clock strikes 12 a.m. You then invite the Midnight Man inside. For the next 3 hours and 33 minutes, your goal is to avoid him. Keep moving, keep silent, and keep your candle lit, because if the candle goes out, you have exactly 10 seconds to relight it. Otherwise, it's said he'll be upon you. It was supposed to be harmless, a thrill, a dare among friends. They had heard the legends, dismissed the warnings, and laughed off the danger. But as midnight approached, an uneasy silence filled the room. Candles were lit, fingers were pricked, and the game began. But almost immediately, they realized something was wrong. One of the friends, Sarah, noticed her candle flicker violently. Shadows seemed to twist in unnatural ways, as if they were watching, waiting. The others brushed it off until the first candle went out. The flame vanished, plunging Sarah into darkness. Her hands shook as she struck a match, but it broke in her grasp. She fumbled with another, the darkness growing thicker, almost suffocating. Finally, she relit the candle, but not before she felt something, a presence, brushing against her shoulder, cold as death. One by one, the candles went out, each friend left alone in the pitch black, their hearts pounding as they fought to relight their candles. Some heard whispers, others felt a cold breath against their skin. They all felt eyes on them, eyes that shouldn't be there. Legends say that the Midnight Man is not a figure you can see fully. He's a shadow, a coldness, a flicker just beyond your sight. But they all saw him, in different ways. A tall, twisted figure at the end of the hallway, a face hidden in shadow, with eyes that seemed to pierce the soul. One of the friends, Michael, described seeing long, bony fingers reaching out from the darkness as his candle died again. Minutes felt like hours as they counted down the time until the game would end at 3:33 a.m. They could hear footsteps, soft and deliberate, echoing through the halls, as if the Midnight Man was savoring the hunt. Each friend tried to move quietly, afraid of making the slightest sound, but he was always there, just out of reach, his cold gaze piercing the darkness. One friend tried hiding in a closet, clutching her candle, listening to the slow, steady approach of footsteps just beyond the door. She held her breath, praying the game would end, that she would survive. But as the footsteps stopped, she realized the Midnight Man was waiting too. As 3:33 a.m. approached, hope began to creep in. But the game had one last trick. The Midnight Man's presence grew stronger, a suffocating pressure that made it nearly impossible to breathe. Whispers filled the air, taunting, mocking, each friend feeling as if they were moments from being taken. The final minute dragged on, stretching into an eternity. Morning came, but the terror of the midnight game left scars that wouldn't heal. Some would never speak of it again, others would be haunted by nightmares, flashes of a face in the dark, whispers that lingered long after the game had ended. They had survived, but they knew something had followed them back from that night. And for those who believe they're brave enough, the midnight game awaits. But be warned, once you start, there is no going back. You may just find yourself face to face with the Midnight Man. Are you ready to play the midnight game, or will you let this story serve as a warning? If you enjoyed this tale, subscribe to Eerie Tales for more haunted legends and tales of the unknown. But remember, some games are better left unplayed.